Welcome to Luxury and Black. I'm your host, Shari Tisdale. Well, I know spring is in the air. We have come in bustling with major wind here in the Midwest. Really praying that everyone is enjoying their spring break if you're on spring break or preparing for spring break, and certainly keeping safe out there. I know it has been very interesting with all the things happening with the weather and surviving fires and all the things. It has been really interesting, but we're praying that we're getting ready to fall into a wonderful season of spring and summer, blooming, ready to see the flowers bloom and sun shining and just a lot of rest, a lot of peace. I know that's definitely what I'm looking forward to. Hope everyone has had a great week. We've got an exciting show today. We will be having special guests with fashion designer Deanna Latrice, who is phenomenal here in the Midwest area. Can't wait for you to hear her story. She's also an incredible, not only designer, but creator in the creative space, but also a fashion instructor here and really want to hear her share her story, how she is merging both of those dynamics together. Want to talk a little bit about what's been going on in the industry with the seasons changing, which is always exciting. We're shedding and letting go of all the fall wear, which is something that I certainly enjoy doing, but kind of watching who's on the rise and who's doing what and really seeing what our creators and the significant difference that's being made in the industry. We're seeing a lot of great strides, even despite some of the disparities and biases that are still plaguing just in the world today. I know we're shifting and navigating through a lot of different spaces and kind of readjusting and just finding how we're going to work out this space, where we're going to take ownership of our space to create the dynamics that we want to see happen. So I enjoy sharing who are making and holding space, who are really making strides and making a significant difference in the industry. And in the world of fashion, I've talked a lot about Lawan Smith. He is definitely one of the hottest fashion designers on the scene who is continually making major waves and had such a significant showing during Fashion Week. And as I've talked about, many of the celebrities have really embraced him. Beyonce, Rihanna, just to name a few who are really hot on the scene and enjoy seeing all of the wonderful things he's continually doing in the industry. Of course, Sergio Hudson is also still a all-time favorite who we love to talk about with his bold colors and sophistication in the industry, has just been doing some dynamic things in the industry. And then a new on the rise has been Joseph McRae. I featured him a few weeks ago, right? He had a wonderful showing during New York Fashion Week. He is known for his daring non-binary collections with adding a form of traditional norms, a lot of fluid movement and self-expression. He is actually really gives a very fresh perspective on design and boldness. If you're looking to find something that's unique and different, he is certainly one to keep your eyes on. And then there's also A Potts, who also participated in New York Fashion Week, also known for fluid and kind of genderless silhouettes, embraces a lot of exclusivity and believes a lot in sustainability, which is really, really hot in the industry as a whole. Many designers are really embracing the sustainability portion in their brands and offering that versatility in their designs, which is really great. We've got a lot happening. With spring also comes a season of change on our beauty and health care, which is really important depending upon textures of your skin and what's hot, what's not, and really how self-care is just always wonderful. One of the tips that I'm noticing, one of makeup artists that's really renowned, Keita Moore, is really emphasizing the importance of enhancing your natural beauty. And so we're seeing a lean toward the natural look for the spring, opting for more minimalist makeup looks that really highlight and more of a natural glow. So you're going to see more fresh and airy kind of vibe and style that's going to be taking place for the spring, more softer, more neutral tones, using a lot of shades that are warm browns and peaches and more muted pinks if you're into pink. Kind of varies for me whether or not pink really works for me, but I do love browns and corals and a lot of the textures and those colors. So it's going more for a more understated excellent elegance. So you're going to be noticing that coming when you're watching some of the fashion looks and what people are wearing. If you took note on some of the looks that were taking place on some of the red carpets and runway, you'll notice some of those key tips and colors going more for a more softer, more natural appeal. And of course, we all know that we need to prioritize our skincare is so important. A lot of times, particularly people, brown people, African Americans, we don't think we need SPF, but it is so apparent. We really do need to make sure that we're incorporating the SPF in our daily regimens to protect our skin from the sun that, we do need to really protect and make sure that we are keeping our skin moisturized and hydrated properly. You'll see a lot of importance on your cleansing products that you're using, moisturizing. Again, I can't emphasize that enough. Making sure that we are enhancing our skin's health and appearance, and particularly with the more natural look that's going to be flowing and taking place for spring and summer, you want to make sure that your skin is in a healthy place and that we're taking time to do that daily regimen. And that's not just exclusive for women. Men need to take care of their skin. They need to moisturize. They need to exfoliate. They need to cleanse. Facials periodically are so apparent and really so needed, hydrating our skin, giving that extra care, as well as it also gives you a mental break as well. When you take care of your skin and take that time to really just give yourself self-love, it does really penetrate to the mind and also creates just an essence of peace and tranquility that we can all use and take use. So do that as a couples thing individually, but take time to really take care of yourself. And, as we're getting our bodies in shape, the summer bod, you're ready to go to the beaches, ready to be outside. Everybody's ready to be outside, and you want to be there healthy and glowing from top to bottom. And that also includes your skin. I want to note some of the top skincare lines to take a look, particularly for people of color, African Americans. One is Shani Darden Skincare, which is she is a celebrity esthetician, and her brand is known for retinal reform. She does a lot to promote clear skin, and her products are formulated to provide and also deal with a lot of various skin concerns, including fine lines and uneven textures, uneven skin. But she really is noted for having a very sophisticated and highly recognized skincare line. So if you're looking for a new skincare regimen, you might give that one a shot. Also, topicals is another one that's on the rise. It's co-founded by Olamide Alawi, which focuses on treating chronic skin conditions. We have various skin textures and different issues that particularly melon skincare tones may be faced with. And so she has the science backed formulations for products like Faded and which are like butter designed to address a hyperpigmentation and to soothe irritated skin and to address, as I said, more, I want to say severe or more chronic skincare issues. She is definitely one that you would want to take a look at and try if you're looking and having problems in those areas. Of course, we have Fenty skincare. Rihanna skincare is all the rage, continues to be designed. It is designed for all skincare types and tones. She focuses a lot on vegan and gluten-free products, which is really, really popular and very, very important to know about. And last, we have KNC Beauty, founded by Kristen Noel Crawley, known for all natural collagen infused lip masks and innovative skincare. And then here locally in the Oklahoma area, if you're looking for a great skincare for your lips, oftentimes we don't really take that into account, but having a good skincare regimen to protect our lips is so important. We have a fantastic product locally called Queen Kisses. She's based in Tulsa, Oklahoma, Tamika Whitaker. It is a wonderful product. She gives you all the flavors, so you only not are healthy in your lips and collagen, but you're also, it really tastes great as well. So again, those are just some few tips as we get ready to be outside and enjoy the spring. We've got some great products for you to check out. And a lot of those will be available to reconnect and take a look at on our website at luxuryandblack.com. So if you can't remember some of the names that I threw out there, you can follow up on our website. We'll always keep you abreast. Well, we're going to take a few minutes. I'm going to come back. And when I do, we will be joined with our guest, Deanna Latrice Clark, our guest for the afternoon. Stay tuned. At Rubicon, we believe every meal should be an experience. Nestled in the heart of North Tulsa, we bring you bold flavors, locally sourced ingredients, and a dining atmosphere like no other. From our signature dishes to expert crafted cocktails, every bite tells a story, perfect for any occasion. Live music on Thursdays with house band Upscale Smoke. Rubicon is not just another smokehouse, it's a whole vibe. Join us at Rubicon, where taste meets tradition. Rubicon Restaurant, the Upscale Smoke experience. And we're back. And we have our guest with us today, Deanna Latrice. How are you doing?
I am doing well. How are you?
I am fantastic. It is so good to talk with you and been following and watching what you've been doing in the industry.
I'm happy to be here.
Oh, excited. I'm so excited. We go back a little ways. I know you're no longer at Central, but when you were at the fashion instructor for Central High School, which is a fine arts school, and you were teaching fashion design there as well as creating your line, you have been on the rise and doing your thing. So excited to have you. Want to hear all the tea, what you've been doing and how things are going.
Yes. Well, things are going well. I am over at Clary Sage now. I am the classroom instructor for the fashion design program over here as well. Things have been good.
Now, how long have you been with Clary Sage?
I have been with Clary Sage a little over 2 years now.
Wow, that is awesome. Now, what kind of transition from Central High School?
I came from Central over here. Clary reached out to me with the opportunity, and I was able to make a smooth transition. It was all good.
That is amazing. And Deanna, because you are been really on the rise, can you kind of share with us what kind of inspired you to pursue your career in fashion?
Yes. So I've actually always have been interested in fashion in general since I was a little girl. I think my biggest influence is my mom. She's always been real fashionable. And then another thing is I have 6 other siblings. So we shared a lot of clothes and I would always want to wear my whatever was passed on to me. I want to wear it different or I want to cut it up or maybe draw on it or do something different. I think a lot of that sparked the passion I have for
That
making clothes.
that is interesting. So you said your mom did design as well.
No, she didn't design,
Oh,
but
oh,
she dresses up a lot. She's very
okay.
fashionable and stylish. She influences my style in general and just wanting to make clothes.
That is awesome. I love that. Now, do you do a lot of, did you kind of start there with recognizing your niche and desire to get into fashion? Did you start by designing clothing for either yourself or your family? Kind of who were some of your first
My
inspirations or kind of got you
my
started?
first clientele. I did start with using myself as a canvas. When I got into high school, I was the captain of the majorette team. So every Friday, my teammates look forward to having a new T-shirt that we will perform in. So I would make T-shirts. I would cut them up and fringe them, just do like any creative thing I could think of to our uniforms that we would perform. Well, not our uniforms, our when we didn't dress in full dress, when we were in our T-shirts and shorts and tights and stuff, I would try to customize our shirt, be different. And I would also make my sisters things. They would wear stuff from me or for me. Yeah, so that's where I kind of started.
Now, did you have any particular? I know you said your mom had a tremendous influence in pushing you into the fashion industry. Were there any other mentors or designers that you kind of looked up to or followed that kind of gave you that push? Like, I know this is something I want to do.
Not right off the back. The beginning of my journey kind of felt alone because I didn't know anybody that was interested in making clothes or anyone who even made clothes personally. I didn't know anyone. It wasn't until after I graduated from high school and I started seeking opportunities and knowledge and getting into school to where I was able to learn more about the industry, learn more about designers and different kind of designers and influencers. And I also worked at an alteration shop after I graduated from Clary. That working at that alteration shop sharpened my skills. And the owner, her name was Miss Ann. She passed away some years back, but she was a good mentor. I will say working there sharpened my skills a lot because she didn't play. She'd be like, no, no, Danae, that don't look right. So let's redo that. She was a good mentor. She was a good mentor.
That is, it's so interesting that you say that because I've talked with several fashion designers and particularly African American designers. That is probably one of the most consistent things I hear all the time, that their initial beginnings, they felt like they were their own motivators. They didn't really have a lot of people to look up to or to connect with to
Right.
kind of help them in the beginning of their journey, but that perseverance and, self-start attitude just to keep pushing and kind of creating and navigating your space seems to be very, very apparent. Now, would that have been a big influence? Because I know you're a designer as well, but also as a fashion instructor. Would you say the fact that you did not have that initial support or are able to find it, that maybe had an influence on you becoming a fashion instructor as well?
Absolutely. Starting out with teaching, it kind of just the opportunity kind of just fell in my lap, and for experience, I went ahead and went with it. But as as time went on, I was realizing like, wow, I can relate to a lot of the, individuals, like they felt how I felt, and I can soften some of those nerves of feeling alone or not knowing where to navigate, what to do. Like some of like even down to like construction, it's like you can't learn it from looking at a book or you can't learn it from watching a video. Like there needs to be someone there with you. And it makes me feel honored to be able to be a part of somebody else's journey and learning the industry, learning how to sew, learning to be a designer, seamstress, boutique owner, whatever it is that they want to be involved in the fashion industry. I'm glad that I have some knowledge to share as well.
That is I love that. That is absolutely awesome. And it is definitely so needed. I talk a lot about the importance of mentorship, being able to connect and to find that. And being from Oklahoma, being here, it has always been because we have so much talent. There are so many incredible Black creators we have in the space here. But I find I'm always really amazed how many people are not aware of the resources that are available that they could take advantage of. Even young people initially coming in,
Right.
as I said, I saw you work and your interaction at Central High School in the fashion design program there, but I was always amazed that so many people were always shocked when I would talk about that. They didn't know Central was offered fine arts and that those programs were even available in a high school level.
Right. Right. People still get surprised when people do ask me if I'm still at Central and I tell them no, I'm at Clary. They're like, "Oh, did you switch to hair or makeup?" I'm like, "No, I'm still doing fashion." They're like, I didn't know Clary had a fashion program. I'm like, yes, yes, they do.
And they have a phenomenal program. I mean, it
Mhm.
really is a really top-notch program.
We have several options to cater to specific needs. So it is a really good program.
And some of the different area now are because one of the things that I follow you and I love your designs and just to watch your growth and watch what you're doing, but you are just exquisite on when I say gowns and glamour.
With with designing in general, I feel free, I guess, or I don't know if free is the right word, but I feel at my best when I'm able to tap into my own creativity, not really following anybody's guidelines or anything. I love when someone comes to me and say, "Hey, I have this event. I I don't like my arms to be out." Like, they may give me a few details or whatever, but when I have creative control and designing, that's where my heart lays in this all of this is designing on my own or yeah, the I love designing, and I do love all the glitz and glams and laces and sequences and sparkly stuff is all my favorite.
And they're beautiful. I mean, exquisite designs. I've seen several that you have done for, particularly for young women and going to the proms and various events. And absolutely, when I say they're slaying, you're doing that. I mean, the gowns are
Thank you.
absolutely gorgeous. Do you have a preference? Because I know as a designer and an instructor, I do want to ask you, how do you balance both, balance your creativity as well as then the teaching
Mm.
aspect that you offer?
Yeah, so with balancing, I think that in general, because I get to be around like-minded people, and I have students of they come in all forms, all shades. They all have their own styles and everything, but the sense of being in the environment of creativity and the same people have the same passion or whatever, it is easier for me to stay creative because I'm able to push or nurture someone else's creativity. And it does a lot of times it does get inspiring in general for myself. to be able to watch someone else be inspired or create in their own world and do that. A lot of my students do keep me inspired.
What would you say are would be some of the biggest hurdles that you had to overcome coming into this space that you share with your students to try to eliminate or prevent them from having some of the same challenges?
Yes. Um, let's see. Cause I know I've had many challenges. Uh, the whole part of feeling alone, I do try to make myself very relatable. I don't want them to feel alone. There is like these bridges that, we have these gaps and those bridges that that we're not aware of or that we feel like we can't get across or whatever. I try to be that person on the bridge, like, hey, it's okay to walk, like, let's walk over here. I know this, or I know this person. We can figure it out. The whole networking thing in general, as the years has went on, I have met people. I have been able to network. I've been to New York Fashion Week a couple times. So it's like the feeling of that in general is like, oh my God, I know people. I can tell my student who does, let's see, I'm gonna get particular, who does festival wear. I know a person who puts on festivals. Like, I can connect them. Like, that in general, like as a student or when I was a student or when I was beginning, I didn't know who to go to or ask or, like I think that was my biggest hurdle in general. And then speaking or asking or saying something in general, I can be very quiet at times. So speaking up and making my students aware of speaking up, like, hey, sometimes you got to say something. That was a big hurdle for me in general.
That
It's
is awesome. Now,
teaching.
let's expand on that because I love how you just glided. I've been to New York Fashion Week a couple of times. I'm like, applause, applause, because that's major. Not everybody can just say they've gone to, and participated and been a part of New York Fashion Week. Tell us about that.
So in 2023, some friends had convinced me enough to enter into a pitch competition that was catering to designers, how to pitch their brand, how to put a pitch together. It was built more so around a workshop. And then it was also a fashion show included in all that as well. So with the workshop, they helped me put a pitch together and then it was a competition. We all presented our pitches and I won. So with that was the New York Fashion Week experience. And this was with Fab,
Oh, Fab, Fifth Fab.
Fifth and Fab. It was with Fifth
Yes,
and Fab and then Model Behavior. That I did this with Lisa J. So
yes.
I
He's a
did
phenomenal
win.
stylist. Yeah.
Yes, I did win. So they provided me with $500 to go to New York Fashion Week. The first time I went around, I was able to basically it was more of a networking kind of experience.
Right.
I was able to work at the Fashion Bomb Daily fashion show that's put on, and they're like a mega fashion site as well. You did like all volunteers had to apply and you had to be accepted into, volunteer for the fashion show. But as we were backstage getting ready and, all these things, one of the head of house production members came back and was like, I need a couple volunteers to work the door of VIP. And then, somebody was like, she's going to do it, like send her up there. So I was able to work the front door of this fashion show. I got to run into celebrities. It was amazing in general that first go round. The second go round, I went back last February in 2024 and I was able to actually showcase in a fashion show. I showcased for Unique Mode. They are a fashion production brand as well. They had two segment shows. I was the finale designer in their first show, it was crazy to me because I'm like, I've never been to New York. I don't even know nobody there. Y'all want me to be finale? Like what?
I love that.
It was an amazing experience. Definitely different from what I've ever experienced outside of that. I do think that it opened my mind frame to a lot. I'm ready to continue working. I'm ready to continue to connect people. I'm ready to put on some productions myself. Yeah, New York was great.
Oh, New York is everything. And
It
when
was.
I just want to emphasize to the public, when I say that is an amazing feat,
Yes,
not only, I mean, not to just go and be a participant, but to actually showcase your clothing and
yes.
be the finale.
I cried.
That is hats off.
I
Now,
can.
and what were some of your designs? What was it that you think that brought it stood out that caught the eye of Unique Productions that chose you to be that person and to close out the show? Because that's my open and close is everything.
Right. I think Lisa and Danielle had a lot to do with speaking on my behalf on getting into that show. But in general, when I submitted and cause I sent previous designs, I didn't show them anything I was gonna showcase at the show, but I did try to make sure that I was using pieces that represented me and myself, my personal brand in general. I think that spoke a lot. Like, my favorite fabric design with is stretch velvet. I know I can't use it all year long, but it's my favorite. I just like the way it looks, how light hits it. It's soft. Like, again, I tried to stay very true to myself because I don't want to get there and be something totally different.
Right,
But
right.
I did. I tried to stay authentic, and I try to stay authentic in general, like be myself and showcase myself. My biggest clientele is occasion prom wear.
Okay.
So that's what people know me as. So I don't try to stick within that field because that is what I like to do. But I do when I'm showcasing my brand and who I am as a person, that's my go-to is occasional wear, prom wear, something you would see into that nature.
Oh, absolutely. So you would say your design aesthetics are more the formal wear?
Yes, high
Okay.
fashion, formal, yes.
Because that leads right in where you're saying prom and major events, but I'm seeing red carpets.
Yes, yes.
You,
Well, I hope to be there one day.
oh, and with where you're, looking at some of your designs and styles and textures and how it flows, I can certainly see that. And what's
Yeah.
so exciting to hear that you're already making those connections in the major cities, particularly that one
Thank you.
could be definitely well on your way because all it takes is that one person to get
Mm.
to see what you're doing
Opportunity, yes.
can totally just change the atmosphere.
Absolutely.
What would you say are do you what would you say or have you faced a lot of challenges as a Black designer?
Um, Sometimes it feels they like being a designer is not a hobby to me. So
Uh,
sometimes it can feel like some people don't take me as serious when
mm,
it comes to the things that I do. I'm like, no, I'm not just a t-shirt maker.
right. Okay.
I think that is one of my biggest challenges is getting across or getting the point across that this ain't just I'm not just doing this for fun. This is really my passion. And I couldn't even see myself doing anything other than what I'm doing.
And that and how would in terms of like really putting your brand out there,
Mhm.
what would you say are your go-tos that are really putting you in the marketplace where your visibility, or what would you like to see better in the marketplace to really to be able to put your brand out there?
Right. I do. My go-to is showcasing. I do want to get to a point where I'm able to produce and showcase myself more. Like I,
Mhm.
uh, I don't know if I want to use the word independently. That's not. But as far as my brand as an independent brand, yes, I know that I'm gonna need help. and build a team and all that good stuff to that nature. But I'm still working on putting myself out there, being a voice for myself, being an advocate. Those are some of the things that I'm still working on as a designer.
And do you find that difficult balancing the two, trying to promote and market yourself as well as maintain the creative side and creating your designs?
Sometimes I do find it difficult. I guess it's certain things like I do have to draw myself back to like, okay, I'm overstimulated. Let me calm down. Or, let me, clean my plate up a little bit before I jump into XYZ. Yeah, it does get difficult sometimes balancing.
And when that happens, what puts you back on the right track? Would you say kind of calms you down and where you kind of get rejuvenated and like, okay, let me refocus and then get back in my lane?
I'm one of those kind of people that withdraw or go in my shell to if it's prayer, if it's meditation I gotta do, if it's isolation, I gotta, spend a couple days alone.
Hmm.
Those are the things I draw back to.
Now, do you utilize social media a lot? I'm watching so many people and hearing them talk about the influence, particularly with TikTok, but how they have really built their brand,
Right.
really got them, notoriety, and it pushed them out there utilizing social media. Do you use that medium as well?
I utilize social media, but I should be taking advantage more than what I do. I definitely should.
And when you say that, what would you do differently?
I would definitely post more, I need to do things that are more engaging to my followers or, following. Those are the biggest things is engagement and advertisement.
Oh, absolutely. And I mean, and they go hand in hand. And, being on the other side of the creative, I do understand. People don't realize those are full-time jobs, each of
Yeah.
them.
Yeah.
Marketing and advertising, creating your rhythm with it, creating, being very consistent.
Yeah.
And with that, I want to ask you in developing your brand, do you find that restricting you into a particular design aesthetic or style? Putting what is your brand? What if people, tell us, now is your brand name, is it Aned?
It's well, I kind of rebranded. I used to go
Okay.
by Ed,
Aned. Okay.
which is my name backwards. But here in the more so recent years, I have been going by Deanna Latrice Designs, with
Okay.
Ed being like a branch of it. My brand caters to like-minded creative people.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not just, well, I wear many umbrellas or I wear many hats. I am a designer. That's where my heart lays.
Right.
That's what I am top. I'm a designer. That's my top title. With the whole teaching thing, it does spill over into other areas of the industry. So I'm not just a designer. I'm also a seamstress. I'm also a teacher. I do plan on having like my own workshop one day where I'm able to cater to fashion events and designers and just the fashion industry in general.
Okay.
I do feel like there are restrictions that I slowly kind of work through, figuring out what works best, what don't, who should I know, who should I be talking to, what should I be doing,
Mm-hmm.
and navigating through all that.
Now, we're in the Midwest. How and developing your community. And as I said, we have some incredible creators here. How would you define or do you see a good support system in really navigating a community to really help in certain key areas that could be helpful to you to help push your brand, but allow you to focus on the areas most important to you?
Absolutely. like you said, we have a lot of creative individuals here, and it don't just lie with people who know how to sew. Like
Right.
there's business people that I can connect with. There's other creatives like photographers, models, makeup artists, hairstylists. Like
Hmm.
I believe that the community is already here. A lot of us just don't even know, who to speak to or who to talk to or who to go to. I think we have to start with bridging those a lot of those big gaps. And then I think our community gonna be on point someday. And I'm here to help get us there here in the Midwest.
And I love that because we definitely need that. And, one of the things that I loved that got you to New York, that you're talking about when you went to New York Fashion Week, and that, you did that through a pitch competition, that there are avenues here that are
Absolutely.
really supporting, that are connected and providing those opportunities. What would you say we as a whole that you could see could be done better to better put that information out there where more people are aware that we have those things happening right here that can help propel someone's, future?
I think conversation for starters. I say for starters in general because I'm a quiet person. And
Yes.
especially in the beginning, I was like, well, I'm kind of scared to say something. So I wouldn't say anything. It's like now I don't even know. Like, now I don't know. I never know. Probably now. I think the conversation in general, we have to start with those conversations on what our goal is, what it is that we want to do individually, or, that in general, and then getting out there. Like I said, I'm a quiet and shy person for the most part. So I know that I can isolate myself or withdraw or not go to that event because my anxiety or because I'm feeling too shy or it's going to be too overwhelming. But that in general, I know I'm not the only other creative person that has these kind of same issues because I teach and I can I hear it from many of my students like, oh, I just kind of stick to myself. I know a lot of creative people are like that.
And that's true, and it's g and I feel you on that because you're in, like, a creative space where you
Mm,
also it's those are like your babies, so you're
personal.
protective
Yes.
of your designs, but yet that other side, where making it easier for creatives to be able to share and open up and showcase what they're doing, what they
Ab-
have, to attract people. And so with that in a whole in the fashion industry, what would be some important development that you would like to see to maybe address some of those issues that, a lot of designers face, in building their brand, making people aware of who they are and what they have to offer.
Right. I think that workshops and seminars would be great for designers or seamsters, up and coming creative people. Just putting it out there more because the community is what's going to keep people together in general. You feel more confident when you're doing something on your own and you have someone saying, "Yeah, that's great. Yeah, that's great. I think you should talk to this person." Or, "Yeah, I do think you should go ahead and do that photo shoot." No, go ahead and sign up for that fashion show because there are designers like I don't think I'm there to be in a show. I don't think
Right.
I don't know. I'm not in a space where I need to be making something for somebody. But I'm like, but you sew impeccably. Like, so a lot of people feel alone. And I think that once our community gets strong, I think it will elevate here in this area for us.
And how do you see yourself? I know I hear you saying that, you see yourself being that advocate to help propel and eliminate some of those stresses and fears. How would you use your platform to support and uplift other creatives, and particularly Black creatives?
Absolutely. I would continue teaching. I do. I don't. I don't know what the future holds in general for me, but I know it holds something in the fashion industry. I'm still 100% okay with instructing or teaching one lessons, hosting workshops, hosting seminars, getting up and speaking. I still struggle a little bit, but I'm way more comfortable with speaking now than I was then. And I think that a lot of people who do know me or see or saw where I have came from, I think that'll help in general as well. Like, oh, like I didn't even know she could talk and she's up there talking for all these people. Like, so I do being a voice, definitely sharing my knowledge, sharing my passion, and just nurturing the industry here in general.
I think that's so important, and I really applaud you on, on that, and would say it is definitely needed, because I think something
Mhm.
that you said is so key and that would speak to a lot of creators. It is overcoming that fear of
Being
be
rejected
of
or
being rejected,
anxiety in general.
self-evaluate, like, we always feel like we're not ready. It's
Yeah.
not there yet. It's not there yet, when it really is. And what it takes just to take that leap of faith, that first step to step into your purpose that you were created for. And I go back to when you took that step with, and one participated in the pitch contest,
Mhm.
that you not only won, but then really took the step to go.
Yeah,
Some people
it
won't
was a
even
big
go.
step.
They'll win and not even take advantage of it, because they'll talk themselves right, like, I'm not ready for, particularly in New York can
I
be very overwhelming.
I was overwhelmed and I questioned if I was supposed to be there or am I supposed to be? But then I started thinking about everything I ever dreamed of. I can remember being 6 or 7 years old talking with my mom about like, I want to be a designer. And she's telling me, yeah, baby, you're going to be in New York. You're going to go to LA and
I love it.
Paris. And I have all these years of dreaming of being in New York, Paris, LA and all this stuff. And then it's like, the New York opportunity to me is once in a lifetime. Like I've dreamed about this stuff since I was a little girl. I'm a grown woman now, and there's the opportunity. I cannot not take it. I took
Exactly.
pride when I was there. I'm like, this for real. It may be small to like, other people were like, this is for real a dream I had when I was a little girl.
And you were living it. Yeah.
Yeah, and I was living it.
And what I love, that you came back the second time. First time when as a
Mhm.
participant, learning, meeting people, and the engagement, but then I love that you came back, and not only came back, you were an active designer showcasing,
Yes. Yes.
and a finale show, and which speaks a lot to you and what you have to offer, because that's a big week, that's a big night, and no one gives up the final spot.
No. No
You know
one
what
does.
I'm saying? So they're gonna put the best out there, and so that was you.
I definitely was honored and it felt good. It was definitely a good feeling. Definitely.
Now, and what would you say are your goals or do you see are kind of in your 5-year plan, if you develop one, both as a designer and an instructor? We've kind of touched on it a little bit, but where do you see yourself in 5 years?
Yes. Hopefully I'll make it there before 5 years. I got my plan and all that ready to go. But kind of mentioned before, I do want to have my own creative studio that caters to not just designers, but designers would be the main catering, being
Mhm.
catered to. But I also want it to be a creative space where there is a fully equipped workroom where designers can come in and work on things. One of my challenges as a up and coming designer was I didn't have the space at home. Yeah, I have my portable sewing machine, but I don't have a cutting table.
Mm.
I don't have, like the things that I need, like a workroom would have. I'm on the floor,
Right.
cutting stuff. But there's no, there's not a lot of places like that here, even in Tulsa. So I plan to have a creative studio for designers, trying to get themselves out there. They done made this whole collection and say maybe they don't know how to go about doing a fashion show, or maybe they were going to do a fashion show, but it didn't fall through. And because I've been in those situations too, where I've made a whole collection and now I don't have a way to showcase, or I don't even know, how to lucratively, or how can I showcase my things beneficial without hurting myself or putting myself in a hole, or,
Right,
something of
right.
that nature. Like these designers can come here and book with a photographer that, that we have on file. We have a list of photographers that come in, and we actually have a space for that. Where I can host workshops and seminars and, still be able to teach to that manner. And then I'm still also can design for my brand as well. I do want to be able to get more into production of fashion events where I'm able to showcase up and coming designers as well. I want to be able to stay a resource. Like, I'm still a resource to Central. I want to still be a resource to Clary when I'm off doing my future endeavors, and just still be an all-rounded resource in general. Maybe provide jobs for designers, because that's another thing that's it's kind of hard. Like, if you're not a freelance designer, there's not really like a place here you can go for employment. Like for me, I didn't plan on being a teacher. I always planned on being a designer. Teaching just kind of, the opportunity just kind of came to me. But there's not a whole lot of employment for designers and seamstress.
Asking you, I love your plan and what you're preparing to do. Will that take if your design brand takes off, will that take you in a different do you see yourself being able to still accomplish both? Or do you are you leaning one way more than the other?
I'm leaning towards the creative studio more,
Okay.
because I think in my heart, I believe it goes hand in hand. Like, I don't know what the future holds.
Right.
I'm hoping that I'm still able to design while running a workshop, or, a creative studio, but I'm leaning towards the studio more.
Well, and and I love that because it's really needed here. So
Mhm.
many things that you pointed out are we don't have, and it is a space that I think could be very, very beneficial for aspiring designers, which really leads me probably our last question. As a Black designer, I think you kind of answered what you would like to make as an impact. You just talked about that.
Mhm.
But what would be most important to you with your platform kind of shaping the industry? And I hear that a lot, that you would kind of be reshaping the fashion industry here in this area. An aspiring designer that may be listening and discovering like, wow, I didn't even know these places existed, to eat, that encourages me to get started.
Right.
What what would, to an aspiring designer wanting to take that step, what would be some of the things or the first thing you would tell them they need to do?
Some of the first things they need to do is, let me think. this, this is a good question. As a designer starting off, I think being well grounded with what you want to do as a designer is the main thing. Because if you don't have a passion for it, it's not going to last. People tell me all the time, I want to learn how to sew. I want to make my own clothes. They don't be serious at all. I think knowing that you want to design in general in your heart is the first thing you need to do. And then maybe just kind of like, I don't want to say build clientele, no. Building your knowledge as a designer, what it takes in general is like, if that's basic construction or pattern making, start off as a hobby. Start off, making those the pajama shorts, and, going into the more complex things. If it's something that you like, then go ahead and start looking into further education. Then that's when you start investing in it. I'm like, some people will go and they'll start school, or they'll start buying all this equipment and, supplies and stuff. And then they don't even want to do it no more, because it takes a lot to be a designer. And a lot of people don't realize that. they'll be like, well, my grandma sewed and she did all this and that. And I know how to hand stitch a hole together. And, I'm like, yeah, that's all easy and stuff. And then they get into the depth of being a designer and be like, oh, no. I think just being sure in general as a designer and then taking it step by step and going from there.
Well, absolutely. Well, you have given so many incredible nuggets. And again, I'm so excited about what you're doing and the impact that you're making here in our area. And we wish you continued success. Definitely want to have you back. I'm going to continue to follow you always and keeping abreast of what you're doing. But before we end, can you if people are interested, want to know more about you, want to connect with your designs, how can they reach you?
I am on Facebook at Deanna Latrice. I'm on Instagram, Deanna_Latrice, and I also have a business page, Deanna Latrice Designs. I also have a TikTok. I have to think about what my TikTok name was. I think it's Deanna Latrice as well. All platforms, Deanna Latrice.
Okay. And what we will definitely do is I will list them on Luxury and Black's website on how they can get in touch with you. And in order to do that, so if people are wanting to have, is it consult with you if they're wanting to have designs made, or do you have particular product already available that people can go to
Right. For the past few years, I've been doing most of my clientele is custom wear. So
okay.
just a consultation would be fine.
Okay.
Yeah.
We definitely are going to put that out there and lead people to know, because if you're looking for that one of a kind, original, exquisite design, this young lady, Deanna Latrice, her designs are awesome. And so we encourage everyone to check her out. Deanna, I thank you for your time. We're definitely going to have you back, and we're going to connect and see how some of those platform ideas that you have in mind will help, what we can do to help put it into fruition.
Yes, absolutely. Thank you for having me.
Oh, thank you. And you have a great day and enjoy the rest of your spring break.
Thank you, you as well.
Okay. All right. Bye.
Bye-bye.